podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
What's good, boys and girls? Welcome to For the Extra. Today is Wednesday, September the 11th, and it is the news and gossip part of the day. So, the big news today is that Cristiano Ronaldo has said Manchester United must rebuild everything in order to compete for the biggest prizes, and he has criticised Erik ten Hag. Now, I think one of the few things, and it is very few, that Ten Hag has done well since taking over at Manchester United is his handling of Cristiano Ronaldo and his refusal to just bow before him and his insistence that the club get him out. Because Cristiano Ronaldo, United were building towards something. I don't think it was going to end in a title or a Champions League, but I think they were building towards something, at least a team that could consistently get top four, a team that could at least be competent year on year. And then they signed him, and he ruined the whole thing for them. Single-handedly ruined them, made them much, much worse. Oh, but he got his goals. Yeah, and the team suffered as a result. He got his goals for Juventus and made them much worse as well. He's getting goals for Al Nassr, and he's made them much worse since going there. So this guy is toxic to have around your football club, and nobody should listen to much of what he has to say because it all comes from a position of me. US men's national team have announced officially that Mauricio Pochettino will be their new manager, and I think that is an outstanding appointment. I think it's the best possible appointment they could have made given who's available right now. So congrats to them on that. Speaking of actually Manchester United, who were long linked with Pochettino, they have announced a net loss of 113.2 million in the year leading up to the 30th of June. That is their latest accounts. And that follows a loss of 28.7 million the year before and 115.5 the year before that. Now, despite the results, United are not expected to breach the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules because not all spending goes against their calculations, and clubs can claim allowances known as add-backs. Premier League clubs cannot lose more than 105 million over a 3-year period. I would be shocked if United can find a way to cut a 370 million loss to under 105 million. That seems very unlikely that they would be able to do that. So there might be some pain coming for United. Enzo Fernandez has been banned from driving for 6 months following 2 motoring offences in West Wales. The Argentine footballer had been found guilty of failing to identify the driver of a Porsche that allegedly drove through a red light in Llanelli in November 2023. He was found guilty of a similar offence relating to the same car allegedly caught speeding in Swansea a month later. So he has been banned from driving for 6 months and been ordered to pay £3,020 in fines and costs. He did not appear in the court because he's in South America with Argentina. You would wonder why Enzo Fernandez's car is tearing around West Wales. It's quite the distance from London. So you would assume it's somebody else who's driving the car. And he has just refused to respond to requests for information about the driver. He already has 9 penalty points on his driving licence for speeding offences. Might be worth Chelsea investing in a driver for Enzo for the rest of his tenure at the club. Martin Odegaard is set to be out for at least 3 weeks with an ankle injury, according to Norway's team doctor. However, that's before they've done the real scans and x-rays. Now, they've said there's probably not a fracture, but they don't know for certain. And that an absence of less than 3 weeks would be a bonus. So he will have an MRI scan in London, and then we will see how long it will take for him to be back. But I wouldn't buy into that 3 weeks. I think it could be more. Riccardo Calafiore picked up an injury in Italy's game against France. Obviously, Mikel Moreno is sidelined with a fractured shoulder. Gabriel Jesus currently dealing with a groin injury. And with Declan Rice suspended, they're going to be patching things together for the Spurs game. Big opportunity for Spurs this weekend. Big opportunity. Stockport coach Andy Mangan has been denied a move to Real Madrid after his work permit was rejected. The former Tranmere and Shrewsbury striker was on the verge of joining the La Liga champions to work under Carlo Ancelotti, with the switch subject to a work permit, but his application, which could have taken up to 9 months to process, is understood to have been rejected by the Spanish government, and the move is currently off. Mangan has worked with Carlo Ancelotti's son. He hasn't actually worked with him. They did their coaching badges together, and he's working for Stockport as their attacking coach. He's meant to be outstanding. He did also work as part of Joey Barton's coaching staff, and by all accounts, it showed real promise in the coaching ranks and was responsible for quite a lot of what Barton got credit for. It's just another Brexit shambles. There should have been no need for a work permit. But Brexit is Brexit, and this guy is now being denied his dream career move. A move that could have... He would have earned more money working for Real Madrid for a couple of years than he has in his entire footballing career to date, without question. But, you know, Brexit is Brexit. At least Nigel Farage is happy. Brazil and Argentina both lost last night. Brazil lost to Paraguay. Now, Diego Gomez of Inter Miami, who's going to Brighton in January, scored an absolute worldie. An absolutely outrageous goal. Alisson, no goalkeeper would have saved it. Alisson couldn't get close to it. That was the only goal of the game. Brazil didn't register a shot on target in the entire first half. And that is now 4 defeats in 5 for Brazil. This is approaching crisis level for Brazil. And Dorival Jr., who was appointed in January and oversaw a bad Copa America, likely doesn't see out the rest of the year, in my view. Argentina lost 2-1 to Colombia, their first defeat in qualifying. James Rodriguez scored and Daniel Muniz scored, the Crystal Palace winger. Nico Gonzalez had equalised for Argentina in between the goals. Yeah, I mean, big win for Colombia, disappointing for Argentina, but not over. Actually, am I right about Daniel Muniz scoring? Let me just see that. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Oh no, it was Yerson Mosquera scored. Yerson Mosquera scored. Obviously of Wolves. Decent team, to be fair. Muniz, Mosquera, Lucini, Mojica, and Rios, Lerma, and Arias, James, Duran, and Diaz. I mean, it's a fun front three, isn't it? No Messi in the Argentine 11, and no Alexis McAllister. He came off the bench but wasn't fit enough to start. The Gnome played at left back. Otamendi shouldn't be in the team. At this point, Otamendi shouldn't be in the team. And I kind of think Molina's a better right back than Montiel, but, you know, they're close enough. Look, it was in Colombia. Argentina have nothing to be overly concerned about. They will still qualify very, very comfortably. They're still at top of the qualifying group. Colombia 2 points behind them. Uruguay a further point back. Ecuador in 4th. Brazil in 5th. Level with Venezuela. Only 1 point ahead of Paraguay and Bolivia. Brazil are not going to miss out on the World Cup. but it would be kind of funny if they did in a 48-team tournament. That'll do. I'll go to break and be back with the gossip. See you after this. Right, welcome back. Let's just get through the gossip. Brazilian winger Anthony is reluctant to leave Manchester United despite interest from Fenerbahce. Yeah, because if you're going to get paid 160 grand a week to sit on the bench, that's preferable to having to run around, isn't it? Turkish Super League clubs Istanbul, Besiktas, Fenerbahce, Besiktas and Eyüpspor have given up trying to sign Kieran Tierney after Newcastle made it clear they want to keep him. Jean Duran was subject to 40 different bids. We saw that yesterday. I don't believe that number to be true. I'd say maybe inquiries, but not bids. Manchester United are monitoring Juanlu Sanchez. I don't understand why. I really don't understand why. Eddie Howe and Paul Mitchell have resolved their differences and are now focused on January targets, including Mark Guehi. Now, that's come from, I assume, Luke Edwards. Yeah, you wouldn't put too much stock into what he has to say, to be honest. Chelsea have held talks about leaving Stamford Bridge and building a new stadium at Earl's Court. It's not going to happen. They're just not going to do it. And I understand that it's likely that they have had talks about it, but they're not going to do it. They're going to extend Stamford Bridge, is what they'll do. I don't think there's a site at Earl's Court. Now, there is a big enough site there, but if you want to add infrastructure and all the different things that you want around a football stadium, I just don't think it can work. Scotland defender Liam Cooper is close to joining CSKA Sofia after leaving Leeds at the end of last season. That will be an interesting move, you know. Bulgaria is not necessarily a place that a lot of players head to, but if he's getting offered decent money and wants to experience something different, fair play. John Textor is confident that a deal to buy Everton could be completed in 4 weeks. Seems like it's been going on for about 4 weeks, so, you know, chop chop. Andy Mangan. Tottenham rejected interest during the transfer window from Manchester United, Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain for Christian Romero. Yeah, I can understand all of them having interest. He's really, really good. And Galatasaray are interested in signing Carney Chukwuemeka on loan. Carney's super talented. He's too talented to be wasting away on the bench at Chelsea or in the stands at Chelsea. So if he has the option to go somewhere on loan, he should take it. And if not, he should look to go on a permanent deal in January because he's losing his career. You know, the kid should never have left Aston Villa, is the fact of it. He was horrendously managed by Gerrard. He's gone to Chelsea. He has been there now since August of 2022, so over 2 years. And in that time, he's played 27 games. Last season, he played 12 times. Only 9 in the Premier League. He's played 27 times. He played 14 his last year with Villa. He would have played 50 over the last 2 years with Villa had he stayed there. Villa should probably inquire about signing him back, being honest. Villa should try and sign him back in January. He's a really talented player. I would love to have him at Liverpool. I think he's got a sky-high ceiling. Right, folks, that'll do me for today. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.